But I did want to mention a couple of things that were either directly about TV shows or kind of in relation to TV shows. And if you look on the site, if you were to look at our Star Wars Rebels object page, IGN Star Wars Rebels, search for it, you'll find all sorts of reactions and write-ups and videos that we did specific to the stuff that they showed there. It was awesome. The season premiere is awesome for season 2. They did not say the premiere date, though, by the way, which is kind of a bummer. But I did want to mention one thing in relation to the films, because it is TV-related, which is the Rogue One panel, which was amazing. And it was really funny because it wasn't full. And it was like, wow, people really...
The Rogue One panel, the room wasn't full?
No.
Madness, people, because I gotta say, Rogue One is probably, I don't know, it's neck and neck that I'm excited for 7 and Rogue One. I
mean, 7 wins, but I'm super psyched for Rogue One.
It sounds amazing.
Yeah, and again, it was promoted as a conversation with Gareth Edwards and Josh Trank, and then Josh Trank ended up being there. But no matter what, it was shocking that it wasn't full, because it's like, guys, these are 2 new Star Wars movies that we know nothing about, that they're going to reveal some stuff about.
Yeah.
You know, they have to fill an hour. There'll be some stuff here, so it was crazy it wasn't full. I wish it wasn't like empty. It just, there was up top, there was some seats open. The Rogue One looked awesome. The fact that there was a teaser was amazing before it's even started shooting. But there was an interesting moment, because let's face facts. They know they're planning out what they're going to talk about. They never went to audience questions, and so there was a question. You know, they brought up, hey, you know, this is the same time frame as Star Wars Rebels. To Kathleen Kennedy and Kira Hart were asked this from Lucasfilm. Same time as Rebels. How about that? And they were just like, yeah, it is.
Isn't that interesting?
And there's opportunities there. Which, again, the fact that they thought they verbalized that at all.
It's totally her. Go ahead.
And so...
It's totally her.
And so I, as someone who's a big fan of Star Wars Rebels and is very curious how connected they'll go here. Do
you want to talk about what my Tourette's is about when you...
It's totally her. It's totally her. Because that could really mean anything. There's like a ghost you're thinking of. It's her.
It's one right behind you.
Right. It's that one for the 1800s. I had even asked Kinberg. I interviewed Kinberg this weekend, and you know, he's not only is he an executive producer of Rebels, but he's
Simon Kinberg.
He's Kinberg. He's just Kinberg. He's heavily involved in the Star Wars movies as well. I'm like, look, whether it be Ahsoka or anyone, you, at some point they have to take a character they introduce in animation, and bring them into live action. And he gave the non-answer of like, wouldn't that be great, you know? But I do feel like Rogue One seems highly likely, and I do think it'll be Hera or Sabine. I think
that's who you think it'll be.
One of those two. It won't be Ahsoka, Kanan, or Ezra, because they were so specific that this movie wouldn't involve Jedis or the Force, and that's kind of the point. And then Zeb is kind of a whole thing unto himself. So I think Sabine or Hera. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. I definitely think it's going to be. I mean, they've been hinting all along about how Rebels would tie into the films, and so I do think that it's going to be a character from Rebels. She's a rebel fighter. She's a...
Do you think that Felicity Jones plays specifically? Okay.
I do.
Because that I'm not sure about yet, but I think it's a possibility.
No, I do. I think it's... I mean, it's funny because there were so many rumors about who Felicity Jones was playing, and I've heard so many... people adamantly believing in their theory. I had a theory last week that I, at the moment, was adamantly believing. I have a friend who's convinced that she's Leia. I do not think she's Leia at all. I thought that because there were rumors around bounty hunters that maybe she was a bounty hunter, that would then decide, sort of have that arc where she decided to become a soldier and stop being a mercenary. But now...
And start getting real.
Yeah. This is the story of 7 bounty hunters. But now I do think, it'll be one of them. Or I think it will be her as one of them.
Yeah, I do think it's a possibility, but even if it's not her playing one of them, I feel like one of them could pop up. All they said is that she's playing a rebel soldier.
Do you think it would be too weird to have the lead of that movie be based on in an animated...
Not necessarily, but I also even thought about, like, right away I thought, okay, Sabine is kind of like not white ethnically, like she's an alien, so it's like, but they kind of give her like a, yellowish skin, like a, and then I did think about, do you put Felicity Jones in green makeup with tentacles? And
Yes,
they
you do.
you do. You absolutely do. But I do think that that is a discussion that they have.
She can still look way hot.
Oh, I mean, look, yeah, that Twi'lek or Twi'lek, I know people debate that. They're always hot.
Yeah.
So I don't know, though, the answer to that question. I feel they're more inclined to have Felicity Jones not have
Be
green
a
makeup,
human and
to
have
play a
those
human and to have
them
aliens
show
around
up.
her. But I still think
And that's been the tradition. That would be interesting to have a Star Wars
It would
movie
be.
that had in the lead a
Yeah.
non-human character.
Yeah, and I think we'll get it eventually. I don't know if it'll be this movie because it's the first of the spin-offs or anthology
It's the
films.
whole universe.
But I feel if nothing else, it's like we need a pilot. We need a great pilot to
Yeah.
do this important part
of the mission.
And here comes Hera.
yeah. Okay.
So that's I'm hopeful.
And then
they
who
do
would
that.
you like to be cast?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I mean, hey, I'm totally cool if it's just Vanessa Marshall doing
That's
it.
what I was actually
you know?
thinking.
Yeah.
No, I was actually thinking like she could totally do
She
it.
totally could, yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, hey, it's that's possible, and it would be awesome.
That would be really interesting.
I was having a whole conversation with Frank from the San Francisco office, one of the video guys, about how much he wants to see Freddie Prinze Jr. play Kanan in a movie, and how that's perfectly possible.
Because Kanan looks
right,
quite like him.
Yeah.
Although a little younger.
Yeah, but it's still.
you can
but
still-
also, it doesn't have to be Kanan at that age.
That's
it's like,
true.
Yeah. So
There's so many options.
there's options here. Yeah.
If you guys aren't watching Rebels,
You should. I think a lot of people will be jumping on board, and
especially if they think it's tied.
yeah. And I will even say, and I'm going straight up here, guys, with the end of season 1 Rebel spoilers right here, because we had this huge debate over the weekend about covering it and talking about Ahsoka and Vader. But I just did, and the reason we decided we should is they were literally giving out posters that were Ahsoka and Vader fighting each other, and it's all their promotion. And I've already had people say I wasn't watching, but now that I know those characters are in it, now I want to catch
Now
up.
I'll catch up.
So, hey, I'm putting it out there. Ahsoka and Vader, there's a lot going on. Catch up.
Okay, I know we have to move on, but how do you feel about a Star Wars movie, no Force?
I like it.
You like it.
I think it's time to do that. And now that we're going to be getting this many Star Wars movies, it's going to be important to shake it up, important to not fall back on... Lightsaber is one of the coolest weapons ever invented for a movie, but you have to be able to deliver without that. And so I think it's a good idea what they're doing to make this the first
Straight
standalone.
up hand to hand.
Hand to hand and blasters.
Blasters and hand to hand.
Blasters for everyone.